Hey everyone, and welcome to another movie review. Today we are reviewing Ballerina from the world of John Wick. When I told my wife I was going to see Ballerina, she was like, "Oh, that seems so like sweet and innocent. It's so nice that you're going to see like more softer movies." And I was like, "No, it's from the world of John Wick." And she was like, "Oh, okay." And this was a fantastic addition to the John Wick franchise. But we're going to break down whether this was really worth adding to the franchise or if John Wick could have stayed retired. First off, Addy, your thoughts?
Entertaining. And that is about it. All the John Wick movies are pure entertainment. There's no deeper story. Whereas John Wick is not a movie you're going to see for the death.
True.
So movie you go to see for the action. Kind of like Novocaine.
Novocaine, yeah,
Right?
true. Very similar in, very similar style of like that over-the-top killing people in creative ways and stuff like that. The thing I did like about Ballerina was that we were getting introduced to a completely new character and watching her grow up in the world of training to become an assassin, to take revenge on the villain of this film, which was played by Gabriel Byrne. I fucking love me some Gabriel Byrne. Man, he just steals the show every time he's on camera.
He just brought a presence with him and he's just like, that's a bad guy.
Yeah.
That's a good bad guy. A bad guy you kind of empathize with.
I felt that, unlike the other John Wick movies, like this had more mystery going in because I had no idea what the story was going to be about. It does essentially become just a simple revenge story, but there was certain aspects of it I really liked. Eve, played by
Ana de Armas.
Look, she's good. She's got, she gives some emotional gravitas to certain scenes. She's got the whole one tier thing going on. Yeah, the single tier thing. Nothing against Keanu Reeves. Like,
emotional strength is not his strength.
Yeah, emotional
range
range isn't his strength.
Action is.
You're him. The one they call the Baba Yaga. How do I start doing what you do?
Looks like you already have.
And as soon as he comes on screen, I felt it in my body. Like, okay, now things are picking up.
Absolutely. But again, when he got back to the action scenes with him, when he fights, he's not more dangerous than, what's her name? Anna?
Eve.
Eve is set up to be an amazing fighter. But there's always going to be one person stronger than she is, right? So she beats the living shit out of everyone. And you only have to look away once, you look back, and she basically floored everyone and killed everyone. But then the Baba Yaga, John Wick, is reintroduced. And then when they're fighting, suddenly she lost all the quality in her fights. He just overtook her so easily, while his moves were slower than her moves in previous fight scenes. And it just felt staged because she suddenly was a worse fighter when she was fighting with him.
It was a different fight because they're not going in to kill each other. She's got a certain respect for John Wick.
Absolutely.
And Wick didn't want to kill her because there's more of a connection there where they can understand what they're fighting for. My thing was, if you're going to have John Wick and Eve fighting, I want to see Eve fight differently. This is the thing that pisses me off with these types of films.
Fact.
You've done 4 films where we've seen John Wick beat the shit out of people. I know the way John Wick fights. I know how he's going to handle an action sequence. But when you're doing a completely different character now, and it's a woman who's much smaller than John Wick, can you just have her adjust her fighting style? Because that would have made this way more interesting. One of the characters even says to her, "Fight like a girl. Don't try and match the strength." And I was like, great, awesome. We'll see more creative stuff. Like similar to Novocaine. He doesn't fight the same way John Wick fights because he doesn't have fighting experience.
Exactly. He uses what his strength is.
But when you put Eve next to John Wick, they fight the exact same style. And it looks stupid.
Her trainer says to her, don't fight on his terms. Fight like a girl. Make your own terms.
Yeah.
Great setup. We're going to get creativity, like you said. I don't know why they set it up if she never did it again afterwards.
You will always be smaller. You want to win? Improvise. Adapt. Cheat.
The only time I kind of understood was like her using grenades more. I feel like John Wick doesn't use grenades as much as she did. So that was the only time where I was like, that makes sense, her being more resourceful.
Absolutely. You're asking what threw me off is when she put a grenade in a guy's mouth, closed the door, stood up against the door. The guy blew. The door didn't move. Like in real life, that door would have fucking shut as she went off flying if she didn't get crushed in between the door frame and the door, because it was a big, massive metal door.
This isn't done until they're dead.
I thought you were going to say it was the moment when a grenade was right next to her and blew up.
With the sister.
And the sister was dead, but she was fine.
Yeah. No. Yeah, you turned to me. It was like,
That part,
was too much.
that was where I was like, yeah, even for a John Wick movie, that was too stupid.
and it wasn't just one grenade. It was like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah, and they just threw them in the house, and I was like, why?
And the whole house is like, boom, explosions and
Well,
fire
like,
everywhere.
if you're gonna do that, why can't you just write something to happen that she does differently, where she can move to a different spot, hide under something, do something, but to just stay in the main room while this grenades are all right next to her.
Yeah.
I'm like, why do you set it up?
Let me grab a classic film is action. I don't think you've seen it. We talked about this, but
What is it?
I was mentioning the American version, but there's a Korean version with a lot more action.
Old Boy? I knew you were gonna say Old Boy.
There is action, and it's out there, but it's realistic. It's clean. It's great. It's, like I said, realistic. And they take it far, but not unrealistically far. Whereas John Wick is like, it's awesome. Bit too much, a bit surreal on how far they're taking it, a bit too grand. But then they take it too far. It's like, yeah, this is the future with like body armor built inside their skin or something like that, because this just does make no sense.
Yeah, it's like that little bit. They needed someone to just be like, yeah, just knock it back a little bit, just a little bit, man. We had it. We had the right level there.
Yeah. Then we had the flamethrower section.
I mean, look,
It's
I love
creative,
the creative. I love the creative side of it, but also there was something really up about watching her burn a bunch of guys that like we have no connection with. They're just basic henchmen. So to see them like being burnt to a crisp, it was kind of like, I don't know how much I can sympathize with this character.
Michael, between a 1 and a 5, how many bullets would you give this?
Oh, I feel like Ballerina is a 3 out of 5. It's very safe and typical John Wick style action movie. If you like John Wick, you could wait for it to come on streaming and you'd be happy. Does it do enough with the intellectual property to really justify getting a prequel to John Wick? No. It doesn't do anything to stray from the formula. I had no emotional connection to anything happening. There was some really funny kills, like I was laughing my head off at some of the shit, but I was also laughing at just the visual of seeing this small, tiny girl taking on 7-foot-tall guys and being able to completely murder them. It just didn't work. It reminded me of when I watched Jurassic World and the girl runs away from the velociraptors wearing heels. And I was
Made no
like,
sense.
why wouldn't you take the heels off? If you're gonna have a female as this John Wick type character, you're gonna have to change some things for me to believe it, because it just doesn't look right.
I would give the movie 2.5 out of 5 stars.
Oof. Okay.
Look, it's entertaining. It's fun. I enjoyed it. One moment I almost fell asleep during the flamethrower section towards the end of it.
It did drag on a bit.
It dragged on. The thing that really threw me off, how many bullets in a fucking chamber?
Yeah.
She never reloaded.
That's a good point, and that's something John Wick always did.
Yeah, but that's because that's Keanu Reeves' specialty, reloading. You can watch his videos of when he reloads. He created a new technique of reload. But I would say so many times Anna or Eve was left with no weapon, but she killed a bunch of people who all had fucking machine guns. Grab a fucking gun and move on. Don't stop stabbing people. It makes no sense if you have like 17 guns around you on the floor. I reckon to really summarize this movie into one point is a lot of setup, very little payoff.
Yeah. I would say if you love John Wick, you'll be like, okay, yeah, it was all right. If you don't like John Wick, then this is definitely not your type of film and you need to stay away.
Yes.
That's how I'd look at it.
And the CGI was great.
Yeah, the
The
CGI,
CGI was phenomenal. There was one point in the fires that I said, "Whoa, that's fake." For the rest, everything I didn't notice any CGI anywhere. Nice. It's great.
All right, that's us, guys. But let us know, what did you think of Ballerina? Did you think that this was a worthy addition to the John Wick franchise, or should John Wick stay retired forever? Comment below and let us know. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more videos like this.